Yeah, understanding customer psychology is what we'll be talking in today's video. To understand why a customer behave in a particular fashion and how do we motivate a behavior of the customers and manipulate it towards the benefit of the company's revenue. So definition is the customer psychology. Remember, it's nothing but behavior, buying behaviors is what we are talking about it, because it refers to the final consumer, individual or household that actually makes an interactions and more importantly a transactions for the consumption of goods or services thereby. So that transaction is what we are more interested in as a company. All these consumer eventually make up the whole consumer market thereby. So model of consumer behaviors and how do we go across this? How do customers or consumers actually respond to various marketing stimuli that we presented to themselves in terms of promotion, in terms of discount, in terms of offers? There are n numbers of things in terms of advertisements. So model of buyers behavior, what are we looking at? The stimuli is all about the 4 P's. Essentially there are 7 P's, but let me focus on the core 4 P's, as in product, price, place and promotion. We're not talking about packaging, we are not talking about personal, but that's a different issue altogether. Let us focus on product, price, place and promotion, and then there are other stimuli also, the economic stimuli, the political stimuli, the cultural stimuli is definitely that you get associated with the product per se. This actually has a uh, has a propensity for the customers to make a decision, come to a particular behavior, and that is what we would like to go, the decision process, buyer's decision process. Why does a customer makes a decision or tries to purchase a product in the first place? So yes, we talk about the buyer's response as in the personal choice, the product choice, the brand choice, the purchase timing is also very important, and the amount of purchase is the quality of money that we are attracting is what we are interested into it. This is the black box model for buyer's behavior. I again recollect the marketing stimuli and the other stimuli, which actually propels the customer to come to a decision in terms of the responses thereby. Does it interact with the company product or purchases? Does it try it for the first time? Does it actually make certain sense to make it a regular or frequent intervals purchases thereby? So characteristics affecting the consumer behaviors as we call around it. What are the various characteristics that affects the consumer behaviors? So they are the cultural factors. The cultural factors are nothing but a set of basic values, set of basic perception and behavior learned by the member of society from family and other host of institution. This is my cultural factor. Subculture is a group of people with a shared value system based on common life experiences. Social class, relatively permanent and ordered divisions. Society whose members shares absolutely similar values and similar belief system. Yes, we talk about culture, we talk about subculture, and we talk about social classes. Culture is the overall predominant culture of the society per se. Subculture is within that sect of the society that the person belongs to or the consumer belongs to. And the social class is more or less what we are supposed to adhere to it, to whose members we similarly share values. So yes, these are my cultural factors. Let us talk about the social factor, the group too. What does group means? Which is two or more people when they work to achieve a mutual goals, or mutual satisfaction, mutual objective. This is what is known as group. It is a reference group of comparison. It's a reference group of influence. It is the group which actually motivates a buyer to make a certain decision. Opinion leaders drive trends and influences mass opinion. Family, definitely the basic most common basic of all social group is all about family. Buying roles have changed with evolving customers lives. Wives and children plays a bigger role where the money is going to flow. So that is what we need to understand. So we need to target the wives, we need to target the young children. Roles and status, a person's role plays a different role in the society, and based on these roles the person would like to spread his or her aura or maintain a certain dignity or style or affinity with the lifestyle that goes around these roles. The personal factor is the age group. As the demographic ages, the requirement for the product purchases, services changes. Age and life cycle stages impact our family life cycle needs. to be considered. It is the occupation of the person that has been person professes. Probably an educator would be completely different than a person who is into medical practitioner. A person with a medical practitioner would be completely different from a person who is into the steel industry, in the production of the steel industry. We're talking about economic situation. We're talking about occupation. We're talking about the lifestyle depicting a person patterns of living. Lifestyle profiling helps to understand the person method of interaction with the world. Personalities and self-concept can be used to describe certain characteristics like sociability, aggressiveness, and etc. Psychological factors, motivation, a need that is sufficiently pressing to direct the persons to seek satisfaction. And that is what this motivation is all about it. Then comes perception, process by which a people select, person by which people organize, interpret information to form a meaningful picture. Learning, changes in an individual behavior arising from experiences as the case might be. Beliefs and attitude, it is a descriptive thought that a person has about certain things, certain beliefs. Attitude describes a person's consistency, tendency towards the objective, the criteria, and so on and so forth. What do we go across with it, and how do we manage the show thereby? That is very important. Let us get into types of business behaviors thereby, and how do we go across with it. So types of buying decisions. So as I was saying, we are talking about high involvement as what we go around it. High involvement or low involvement of the customers seeking for a purchase behavior. Customers which are having a high involvement means the big ticket purchases, low involvement all of redundant purchase or regular purchase that goes around it. But then what should be mapped on the y-axis is the availability of brand, the spoil for choices. If there are few brands or few choices all above it, and if there are significant differences from top to bottom, there's a hell lot of differences in terms of money power, in terms of esteem, in terms of quantity, in terms of qualities, and so on and so forth. So remember, when it is all about high involvement and significant differences, we have a complex behavior of a consumers. Let's say they are purchasing an apartment or a villa. Perhaps we are talking about complex buying behaviors. But what happens with the high involvement but absolutely no differences? High involvement but absolutely no difference. That is a regular purchase, a dissonance reducing buying powers, as in the availability of the locations, as in the vicinity of the consumer. So it is reducing the buying behaviors. What about a low involvement? When we're talking about a low involvement but significant differences, it's you're talking about experiencing new taste, new figures of variety seeking behavior. But when there are no differences of brands, it's a habitual regular purchases of, let's say, your cologne, your shampoos, your toothpaste, things like that, for fast moving consumer goods that goes around here. This is what are the buying behaviors of a consumer stated. Complex buying behavior, variety seeking buying behaviors are all for significant difference of brand but having a different levels of involvement as far as consumer behaviors are concerned. Similarly, for very few choices, you have dissonance reducing bias and habitual bias per se. Let me address them one at a time. Complex buying behavior is expensive. We're talking about expensive purchases, risky purchases, purchase infrequently and on not a regular basis, and highly self-expressive. Brand must understand the information gathering, evaluation of behaviors, need to help buyers learn about the product class, attributes, relative importance, describe the benefits as in the print media, motivate the store salespeople and buyers acquaintances to influence the final brand choices. This is what a complex buying behavior is all about here. Dissonance reducing buying behaviors. Now, why we are trying to reduce a dissonance basis? Look at it, the carpets that we talk about it, the furniture that we build, purchase around it. These are definitely expensive products, risky product also, purchased infrequently, but and are highly self-expressive. The brands, it should provide a reputation, it should provide an affinity, it should provide a good price, should offer a convenience, mitigate dissonance, providing sales communication with evidences and supports to help consumer feel developed about their product. Next is a regular fast moving consumer growth. Look what we have said about shampoo, toothpaste, cologne. We look into it. It is a product which is inexpensive, purchased almost on a weekly or a monthly basis, cyclical in nature. It's very familiar, and you get addicted to a brand, particular brand. So brand provides a good price, offers promotion, creates a top of the mind product using a color symbols as the case might be. Variety seeking behaviors are type of products which is essentials. Now we look at the products, you have n numbers of product on a similar price band with a different with the minute differences here and then, so it is inexpensive, obviously purchased on a much more frequent basis, familiar, large choice and large varieties are available. So market leaders creating a habitual behavior is what we are looking into, a dominant shelf space or probably stocking it up and making it visible to the consumer. Eventually the consumer has to pick it up. Challenges offers lower prices, special deals, coupons, samples, advertising, and the presence reason for trying out new something. The buyer decision processes. Now, what are we looking into? There are 5 stages to decision processes, right? It starts from the problem recognition stage. That there you have a need, you have to have a product or avail a service to remove your problem. So you start seeking value, seeking information from n numbers of sources, and then probably you curtail it down to few alternatives which you start evaluating on your own, assessing the value for money or the criteria that you are believing in. Purchase decision is when you actually make a purchase decision. Post-purchase behavior is values in consumption or in use as the case might be. The buyer decision process for new product. Consumer goes through 5 stages as I said: awareness, interest, evaluation, trial and adoption. I again repeat: awareness, interest, evaluation, trial and adoption. This is what we go around it. The moment of truth, the MOT, the moment of truth, if we may say so. Remember, it's a stimulus that has been given to you, that there is a requirement, the marketing effort. The moment of truth is when there is a connect between you and the company or the product, where the person is speaking around or making a purchase. This is the first moment of truth when there is there is a transaction that goes around it. And then the second moment of truth is when the product gets being used by the consumer, eventually is being consumed by the consumer, and the consumer has a first-hand knowledge of what exactly they are experiencing it. So individual difference in innovativeness as the case might be, it is akin to a bell curve, a normal curve that goes around it. Look at the number of adapters which have been posted on your y-axis, and as a percentile characteristic how early that the people do it. This is on time basis. X-axis is plotted on time, number of quantities are adopted, number of person adopting is on the x-axis. And if you look at as the product being launches around it, you people venture around, they take an interest, they find it convenient, and they the adoption increases. This is where the market adoption innovation is taken considerable. From here onward, it becomes a word of mouth and it propels itself on its own. If the product is good enough, things get noticed automatically. And at a plateau of the things, either you need to innovate, and if you do not innovate, there might be other replaceable or imitable products which have been flooded the market and which eventually deliberately eat into the market share, and over a passage of time the product loses its revenue altogether. So this is what the individual difference in innovativeness. First is venturesome, then is conveys an idea, then becomes deliberate and adopt an idea, then becomes skeptical as in other products have been available, other brands have been available, and then it becomes suspicious and switches brand thereof. So influence of a product characteristic on a rate of adoption. The relative advantage, we talk about it: compatibility, complexity, divisibility, and communicability. I repeat, this is my product characteristics on the adoption. First is relative advantage, good for price, value for money, compatibility, to your liking, solves your problem, complexity, easy to use, divisibility, is it being pertained or being multiplied by n numbers of viewers and users, and communicability, how well that the product communicates with the company. The last segment is all about business buyer behaviors. Major types of buying decision are straight rebuys. You don't ask question, you don't think. They routinely orders, let's say pizza for example, without any modification. Modified reorders, let's say the buyers modify the specification, price system, regular size pizza, medium size pizza, a large size pizza with the toppings which may be changing. So it's a modified rebuys. You're buying a pizza but modifying it. New task is purchasing a product and services for the first time. Instead of pizza, you start doing it, let's say a burger, or let's say any fine dining things. So you're purchasing a product for the first time. System selling is buying a package solution from a single seller altogether. Instead of purchasing it from a restaurant, can you have a ready-made things made available? You just have to reheat, or you end up cooking certain things for your all things. That's what the system selling is all about it. Participants in business buying, users, members who will actually use the product, influencer, people who buys affects the buying decision, will provide information to evaluate alternatives. Buyers, people with authority to select buyers and arrange terms of purchases. Deciders will have the power to decide, approve the vendor. Gatekeepers will control the flow of information to others. So major influences. Now, what are we looking into the business buyer? Let's say we are talking about individuals in terms of age, income, job, education, personality, risk-taking capacity, attitude, culture. This is all about individual, right? What about interpersonal, and how does the person interact with the community, with their interest, with their authority, with their status, with their empathy, with their persuasiveness? This is the characteristic of an individual with an interpersonal skill. Now, as with an interpersonal skills, there's a positioning in the organization also, as in the objectives, the policies, the procedures, the organizational structures, the systems. This is nothing but eventually translate into the environmental levels of demand, economic outlook, interest rate, rate of technological change, or should I say technological adoption, political and regularity development, competitive development, social responsibility concern, as the case might be. Stages of business buying process. First and foremost, I have already stated even the 5 stage. First is the recognition of problem. Then you need to understand the problem minutely. Generate description. General description is also good enough. Then probably try to find out what is the specific problem that it wants to be addressed, and is those specificity available in a product or service. Then search for the supplier. Proposal solicitation, asking for the prices, specification, terms and conditions. Once this has been done, the proposal has been shortlisted, the supplier selected, we place a routine orders. What am I trying to do is from individual 5 stage model into a business stages models of doing it into 8 stages. The order routine placement has been done and the performance review. Once the orders have been received by the receiving department, issued by the issuing authorities or the store department, probably how it has been consumed and so on and so forth. That will give me exact notification. With this, I come to an end of this video. Thank you for watching it till the end.